Hey everyone! Today I have 4 more great mid to high level money making methods to show you. In this video we'll be going over fast bolt enchanting, XP capacitors, making binding contracts, and making greater sunshine codices. Links are down below to skip to each section of the video. Before we get into the methods, I'd just like to thank you all for the support. The channel reached over 600 subscribers today, 100 more than last week, and over 200 more than just 2 weeks ago. I'm brainstorming some special video ideas for if we reach 1000 subscribers anytime soon. If you have any ideas for something you'd like to see me make, comment down below and I might just do it. Keep in mind that these methods were calculated using current GE prices, so make sure to check for profitability if you're doing these in the future, because all of these methods are pretty sensitive to price changes. Without further delay, let's get into it. For this first method, you'll need at least level 87 magic. With this, you can make up to 34 million GP per hour and almost 600,000 magic experience per hour with perfect focus. You're probably already familiar with enchanting bolts. You just cast the enchant bolt spell, click the select X dialog, and sit for a while. Something that you may not know about enchanting bolts is that the first set of 10 bolts is done in 0.6 seconds, that's 1 game tick. The rest are done in 2.4 seconds or 4 game ticks. OSRS players will probably know this, but you can cheese this. If you hold down your spacebar and rapid click the enchant bolt spell, you can do each set in only 1 game tick. This means you can enchant 10 bolts every tick or 60,000 bolts per hour. Do note that you have to click the spell, a keybind won't work for this. And you don't even have to smash your spacebar for the make X dialog, just hold it down the entire time. For this, the 3 most profitable bolts right now are Rune Onyx bolts, Sentry bolts, and Criminal Hydrix bolts. Let's look at Onyxes for example. 10 Onyx bolts plus the catalytic runes needed to enchant them cost 55.7k. That's not including the spell's fire rune cost, since you'll be using a Staff of Fire for the free runes. 10 enchanted Onyx bolts is 61.4k. That's a 5.6k profit per set, or about 9.3k profit per second. A full perfect hour comes out to almost 34 million GP profit. The downside to this is the buy limit. You're limited to buying 10k Onyx and Sentry bolts per 4 hours or 60,000 bolts per day. Hydrix back bolts are limited to 1,000 per 4 hours, so only 4,000 per day. These buy limits really are for the best though, because any more than this and it's a one-way ticket to carpal tunnel. Next up is charging and selling XP capacitors. This requires level 106 invention and is pretty much entirely passive. XP capacitors take 50% of the item experience that you would have earned with your augmented gear and use it to charge the device instead. After 100,000 item experience, the device becomes fully charged and tradable. They cost about 1 million in invention components to create and sell for 3.4 million, so that's a 2.4 mil profit per capacitor. These are made with 10 refined components, which can be obtained from Elite Dungeon relics and junk refiners, which can be bought on the GE or made yourself. Historic and classic components come from archaeology items, but they can also be obtained on the GE. And clear parts can be obtained by disassembling gems, glass items, and relics. Some things that fill up XP capacitors extremely quickly are Elite Dungeon runs and Shattered Worlds, but these can be a great way to squeeze out a little extra cash from anywhere you'd be gaining item experience anyway. The third method today is creating binding contracts through ancient summoning. Both Blood Reaver and Water Fiend contracts are selling for close to their all-time highs and make a very decent amount of GP per hour for how easy they are to do. Ancient summoning requires 68 archaeology and completion of the Dagon by Mystery. Blood Reavers require level 73 summoning to create, and Water Fiends require level 50. Before you can actually start creating the pouches, you'll need to make some binding contracts, which require these materials and can be made at any summoning obelisk. The normal method to create summoning pouches is to use the Menifos summoning altar to make like a few hundred per hour or something, but you should really use the Taverley shop method for making pouches. Simply bring your noted ingredients to the Taverley summoning shop, sell a few of your noted Blood of Orcus and Hellfire metal to the shop and buy them back to get them unnoted. Create the pouches and repeat this until you make all of your pouches. I recommend to only sell 50 of each at a time because the shop will slowly lose player bought inventory and the rate at which the items disappear increases as the number of items goes up. 50 of each item at a time is low enough that you may not even lose any of the ingredients and it's still pretty time efficient. I only lost 1 item from the few hundred binding contracts that I'm making on screen right now. At a decent pace, you can make between 15 and 1600 contracts per hour this way. Though I hear that can be as high as 2100 if you're super efficient and don't mind losing a few of your items to the shop. For the rest of this guide, I'm assuming 1550 contracts per hour. Doing more will mean even more profit. The average cost of doing this method of producing binding contracts over doing bank runs only adds about 400 GP to the cost of each pouch after selling them, buying them back, and possibly even losing some, so it's well worth it. The requirements for Blood Reavers are a little high. You'll need 70 range, strength, agility, and constitution for access to the God Wars dungeon Ancient Prison. And you'll really want to have at least one Nex or AOD kill for access to a Wars Retreat portal right here to the next kill count room. If you haven't paid the 10 million GP for permanent access to the Ancient Prison, you'll also need a Frozen Key with charges. You'll need 73 summoning to make the contracts and 73 Slayer to kill the Reavers. I found that 520 kills per hour was a decent and not too try hard pace to kill these. You'll profit about 62.7 thousand per pouch made after accounting for the contract cost, the shop method, and magic note paper, because it's not worth banking these as note paper is at an all-time low price right now. Taking into account the 520 kills per hour rate for killing Reavers and 1550 binding contracts per hour, you'll make 389 Blood Reaver pouches per hour for a profit of 24.4 million GP. If you can make more pouches or get more kills, that will be even higher. Water Fiends are really easy and have no special requirements. In the Ancient Cavern with minimal effort, I was able to get 720 kills per hour. At 46.3k GP profit per pouch, you'll make about 23.1 million GP per hour here with a decimation and decent ranged armor. With a cannon, aggression potions, and Kuroming Ricochet, you can get way more kills per hour. If you were able to reach that 2100 binding contracts per hour rate and kill 1200 Water Fiends per hour, that would be almost 36 million GP per hour profit. But you may as well just boss if you're putting in that much effort anyway. The last method today is making tradable Greater Sunshine Codices for 60 million GP profit per instance. Like XP Capacitors, this isn't an hourly method, it's more of a passive one. The requirements for this are just 89 Invention, 85 Magic, and access to Psyware components. Unfortunately, this won't be extremely profitable for much longer, and the market for this isn't huge, so you may be taking some considerable risk on with this. Tradable Greater Sunshine and Greater Death Swiftness codices are made by combining 20 Psyware components with a Codex of Lost Knowledge, which is a pretty common drop from Zamorak. The blank Codex is about 205 million GP right now, and the minimum price for 20 Psyware components is about 85 million GP. My last Greater Sunshine Codex sold for 350 mil, so that's about a 60 mil profit right now. All you'll need for this is to augment orbs of the Psyware Elders and train them to level 9. At level 9, augmented weapons disassemble for 4 times their normal amount of components, meaning that the orb will give 4 Psyware components instead of 1. At a little less than 17 million per orb. That's about 85 mil for 5 of them. This won't really work with a Psyware Wand or Siren Armor though, because they're significantly more expensive on a per component basis. This won't be extremely fast because offhand weapons only get half the item experience that a main hand weapon gets, but the orb is still a decent weapon to use. Bring these anywhere you're using dual wield magic, and when you've gotten 5 to level 9 or higher, disassemble them and collect the GP. This is also a great thing to do if your scavenger perk has gotten you a few Psyware components or you've gotten some from rare elite dungeon relics or something. Not a ton of GP and it probably won't be profitable forever, but it's nice to get an extra 60 mil here and there. I hope you all get some good use out of these methods. I'm not really sure of you guys' demographic, so please let me know down in the comments if you want me to include more low or mid-level money making guides next time. Thanks for watching and see you later.